This one particular lady that when we had a moment to ourselves, I was like, what, you don't like me or something? She was like, what, you ain't never do nothing to me, and I told her, I was like, well, sometimes that don't matter, and I guess my reason for asking is because if there was a reason, I wanted a chance to correct it, or what have you, I mean, we're cool. Well, we work at the same place. Let's just put it like that. I guess I can't, identify too much because the people that, work with me are watching this, which, I don't try to stop them. I don't want them just being able to pinpoint who it is. But anyway, so that was her answer. But the reason why I came to the conclusion is because, like when I catch her looking at me in the distance, there's like a disdain on her face. Now, when she approaches me, she's kind or whatever, but when she's talking to other people, she's snappy. Whenever I make a mistake, she's quick to, laugh, what have you, I don't get any compliments on how well I do or anything and how often I do well, but whenever, every few months or whatever, when the mistakes pop up, even though, don't be anything detrimental, but I just, was realizing that it gives her joy. The funeral that I was going to tomorrow ended up being today, and I live too far away to go home, so I just figured I'll stay in the car and make some videos. So, but anyway, I wanted to tell her, well, I ain't gonna say I want to tell her, but I guess I'll say I'll tell the audience. What it is part of the reason is, anyway, one, she was out on pregnancy leave when I started years ago, and I didn't know her. And, me and her work boo ended up getting really close. Her main work boo, I don't know how many she got, but the main one. We ended up getting really close, and he became, basically my work boo, And long story short, I could understand that the competitiveness, could drive a wedge. Okay. But, she was a little flaky back then. After a while, I guess she got over it or whatever. But now, lately, the past few months, there's this young guy who started, and, he and I have this strong magneticism towards each other, and, for me, when he first came in, everybody disappeared and all I saw was him. But he didn't notice me, but I noticed him, and I never forgot his face or anything, couldn't really even think about anybody else, and then, at that point, I guess he was just interviewing, but I just remembered him, and then, a little while later, started working there and everything, and then I look up and I see he's noticing me, and he has the same look on his face that I had on mine, like everybody just faded, and it's just me and him, and I went a long time. I wouldn't even let him touch me, or I stayed away from him as much as possible, mainly because of the age difference, and I feel like a draw, I feel it so strong, and I guess other people feel it too, because whenever we look at each other, everybody else stops what they're doing and looks at us looking at each other, so, but anyway, eventually we ended up becoming close, ended up becoming friends, and, enjoying each other's company. We like each other and everything, et cetera, et cetera. And it seems like whenever she sees me and him interact, then that's when her shoulder gets really cold. Okay, I want to make sure this ain't too long. Her shoulder starts getting cold. Some days she's like, hey. And I'm like, hey. And then if I see her and I go, hey, she'll, hi. And it took a while for me to, start making the correlation that, oh, I guess she likes him. Now, she watched him grow up, so I don't know if she liked him while he was little and couldn't wait for him to grow up, or now that he's an adult, maybe she likes him now, I don't know, whatever. Of course, she's not going to admit that part. But, like I'll say again, like whenever he and I are, laughing or play fighting or whatever we're doing, that's when her attitude toward me is like, it becomes real steel and cold as ice, and I'm thinking to myself, like, if you just remember that you're married, it wouldn't bother you as bad.